I speak with Warren Sapp directly as my source.
You don't have my permission to record me, just so you know.
You know you are a public servant, and I can record the police in the course of their duties. You might want to get in the Constitution, Chief.
It's disgusting how Sheriff Noel E. Stevens ignored Warren's illegal arrest. Most people have no idea how corrupt he really is. As a matter of fact, this isn't his first time getting sued for $20 million.
You about waiting for an appointment. And you respond, well, who needs to be tased, arrested, or beat up to get it done? Were you just joking when you said that?
Correct.
Okay.
On July 19, 2024, Dr. Saeed Khan dismissed a $26 million lawsuit he won against Sheriff Stevens. It stemmed from an unlawful investigation after Dr. Khan was falsely accused of sexual assault by Teresa Chandler. She said he pulled her shirt down and sucked her breast during a doctor's appointment.
Now, are you familiar with an allegation made by Ms. Chandler against Dr. Khan back in approximately May of 2020 regarding improper touching or things of that nature?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you tell us how you first learned of that allegation by Ms. Chandler?
I honestly don't recall exactly how I recall or was first notified.
When Chandler reported the assault, she turned her phone in as evidence. It contained sexual text messages between her and Sheriff Stevens that he sent from his sheriff-issued phone.
Before we get to that incident, I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with Ms. Chandler based upon these text messages. Various text messages going back to, let's start on the first page, August 4th, 2017. It's a question, can you talk? And it's to a phone number 863-634-0650. Are you familiar with that phone number?
Yes, sir.
Is that your cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Is that the cell phone you've had since that time back in 2017?
Yes, sir.
Same cell phone number?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that a cell phone that paid for by the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's subject to public records
Yes,
request? Okay. And then you texted her on August 20th, 2019, you sunbathing naked again? Why did you ask her that question?
Flirtatious Texas.
Had you seen her sunbathing naked?
No, sir.
Okay. So you just made that up?
Flirtatious Texas.
Okay. So that's a yes, you made it up?
Flirtatious Texas.
But you had not seen her sunbathing naked?
I've already answered that, sir.
It's no, right?
It's no.
Okay. There's a conversation started apparently by you, or at least from you, to Miss Chandler, excuse me, saying, I have someone to spoil. I like having someone to spoil. What did you mean by that?
Not really sure.
And then she said, and you do a great job at it. What do you think she meant?
Not
Objection
really
to forum, you can answer.
Is there any reason to believe that you didn't have that conversation?
No. I mean, the conversation was had. There was text messages that were shared between the two of us. I was a single man. Has no bearing on anything to do with this case.
Okay. Now, January 16, 2018 at 5:33, according to this, there's a reference to Dream Girl and Dream Boy. Were those the phrases that you all were calling each other?
As she was flirtatious in her text messages, once again, it's inappropriate text messages between she and I.
Teresa Chandler's affair with Sheriff Stevens came with special unlawful treatment.
2019, of Ms. Chandler asking you about waiting for an appointment. And you respond, well, who needs to be tased, arrested, or beat up to get it done? Were you just joking when you said that?
Correct.
Okay.
Teresa Chandler works as a community relations specialist at Okeechobee Waste Management. Sheriff Stevens has been illegally using inmate labor from the county jail to help her at work.
Bottom of page 3, there's a text on 7/12/2018 asking for a few trustees that can help me plant at around 5 o'clock. Do you see that request?
Yes, sir.
Does that seem to coincide with the request we just went through in Exhibit 1?
I believe so. It's got to do with the butterfly garden at Waste Management.
Did you ever receive a legal opinion on whether it was appropriate or legal to use inmate trustees in this manner?
No,
Form.
You never did?
No, sir.
Okay. And are you familiar with the statutes regarding inmate labor?
Yes, form, relevance.
Now, at the bottom here on July 13, 2018, you stated to her, special lady gets special treatment. And what did you mean by that?
Form, you can answer.
Just flirtatious, unrelated text.
Now, was she married at the time you made that?
I'm not sure.
You didn't know whether she was married to Mr. Bishop?
No, sir.
Now, on September 18, 2019, if we go back to Exhibit 2A, you reference her husband there. So would it be fair to say that on September 18, 2019, you knew she was married to Mr. Bishop?
I didn't know anything, sir. That's, I don't know at the time that when I was sending this text, it was flirtatious text between my wife and I. The problems that I had with that.
You texted her, I will do anything you ask of me. Could you tell me what you meant by that?
Form.
Just flirtatious.
Well, would you have done anything she asked you at that
No,
point?
sir.
And then she says, careful, I might just blindfold you so you don't know what you're doing. It says Brat Club Butterfly Garden and the location's WM. What do you know that to be?
That's the Brat Club Butterfly Garden that was at the entrance at Waste Management.
Okay. And it says assist with Butterfly Garden 3 hours?
Correct.
And then contact Teresa Bishop.
Correct.
Now, do you understand this to be that sometime between June 27, 2019 and June 28, 2019, inmate labor was used to assist Teresa Bishop at the Brat Club Butterfly Garden?
Correct.
The sheriff's department has been illegally using inmate labor at many businesses throughout Okeechobee. Gary Caswell is in charge of inmate labor at the county jail and provides trustees to Sheriff Stevens. This has been going on for years, and it's not even a secret. They used inmates from the jail to set up Officer Justin White's daughter's wedding.
It's titled Justin White Daughter Wedding. Who's Justin White?
Sheriff's office employee at the time.
Okay, and it says that there was a wedding. It says location White residence. Do you know where that's located?
I don't recall right now, no, sir.
Okay, now it said required attendees. Your name's there. Did you actually go to this wedding?
No, sir. Once again, it's just on the calendar, so we're understanding that the limited supplies that we have to loan out have been loaned.
Sheriff Stevens knew about Teresa Chandler's accusation against Dr. Kahn before she even came forward.
Excuse me, Mr. Chandler, had ever had a conversation with you regarding an allegation by Dr. Kahn?
No, sir.
You don't recall or you don't know?
I don't recall.
Okay. When you, could you tell me what this appears to be?
This appears to be when we had a iPad sign in, check in at the in the front lobby.
Okay. And it says sign in time February 26, 2020, 9:50 a.m. You see that?
Say that date again.
Feb
2020.
February 26, 2020, 9:50 a.m.
Thank you.
Okay.
And visitor type sheriff, it says Miss Teresa Bishop is here to see you at the front desk.
Okay.
Is that the type of message that you would get when a constituent such as Miss Bishop would be there to see you?
I never received any of these messages.
Well, how does a person get back to you then? Like, does someone call you?
Goes to my assistant, then my assistant comes to me, either with who's out there or with the party that's out front.
Now, can you recall then whether you actually saw Teresa Bishop on February 26, 2020 at 9:50 a.m.?
I don't recall.
Okay. But this does appear to be an accurate record of how a person would check in to visit you?
Could be, yes, sir.
Well, you say could be. Why wouldn't it be?
Why couldn't it be? Do
Well-
we know that 100%?
Well, I requested it from your office, so I'm just
Okay.
asking you, does this appear to be a record from your office?
It possibly does, yes, sir.
Okay. So there's a possibility that Ms. Bishop was at your office on February 26, 2020 at 9:50 a.m. to see you.
Possible, but it doesn't know that I was there to see her.
Okay. Okay. I'm just asking you that she's
It's
there.
possible, yes, sir.
Now, you don't know where you were on February 26, 2020 is what you're telling us?
I don't know where I was at yesterday sometimes.
On June 24, 2020, Sheriff Stevens told Teresa Dr. Kahn was arrested, and her case made the paper.
June 24th, there's a text to you, or you send a text. Arrest made out paper today. A response, I saw it, thank you. They just released another story online too, and there's like looks like a picture of your local news. It says a local doctor accused of assaulting woman. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
So did you text her that her arrest made the paper?
Correct. I would assume that based on what we were reading.
Okay. And why were you continuing a conversation with her about the case?
She's a friend,
Okay.
just like Dr. Khan's a friend.
I understand that. And you actually testified in his trial that she was the same type of friend as Dr. Khan was.
Correct.
But we now know that's not true.
Objection form.
Correct?
Okay.
He helped her throughout the entire process. On June 26, 2020, Sheriff Stevens texts Teresa Chandler saying the state's attorney is doing a great job on her case.
On June 26, 2020 at 2:53 p.m., according to this text, you say, "Hey lady, state's doing a great job on your case." What did you mean by that?
Don't recall. I can only assume that something was printed in the paper and the case was moving forward.
Okay, but when you say the state, who are you referring to?
State Attorney's Office.
Did you have conversations before June 26, 2020 with them about her allegations?
Never had conversations that I recall.
He had multiple women form with Teresa to falsely accuse Dr. Khan.
Her text to you is 8 more ladies have come forward. Do you see that?
Okay.
And then you respond, and a couple to city. What did you mean by that?
Just reading the texts that you're showing me here, I think at that point there was some movement with the case with outside other victims, according to what was stated in the paper, and what I'd heard coming from the city police department.
And when you say you heard, who told you that there were a couple from the city?
I don't recall. Rumor mill goes, and this was a pretty significant case with the two of them. So there was gossip and chatter going on all over the place.
Teresa even texted Sheriff Stevens about changing her written statement after it was turned in.
Recall a conversation that you had with her regarding trying to make changes to her written statement?
I don't recall.
Okay. At the bottom of page 4, you say, "No changes. Your civil attorney has all he or she needs." Who is her civil attorney?
No clue.
Well, why would you refer to a civil attorney if you don't know who it is?
Well, I don't have a clue. I mean, when you read the statements and what she's trying to say, you know, her criminal attorney is the state attorney. So, you know, I must have taken what she was trying to text or change to be on the civil side.
Well, so it would be fair to say at that point you knew she had a civil lawyer handling a civil case.
It's possible.
Okay. And you knew at that moment in time that she was suing Dr. Khan for civil damages.
Form, you can answer.
All mere speculation. I don't recall.
Okay. You can't recall if she was suing him.
I can't recall the conversation, sir.
Okay. But you knew for sure she had a civil attorney based on your text.
I don't know that for sure, no, sir.
Well, you wouldn't lie to her in a text, would you?
I don't know, sir.
You may lie to her in a text?
I don't know.
Okay. So you're just not sure what you meant when you said your civil attorney?
No, sir.
Okay.
It's obvious Sheriff Stevens worked with Teresa's attorney behind the scenes.
Then on page 5, there is a Facebook post from Dr. Khan that she shared with you. And this was July 19, 2020. And in this Facebook post, he states that he's vigorously contesting the allegations and will be exonerated at trial. My accuser is demanding money and she's retained lawyers from New York. So you'd agree you read this text message she sent you in this Facebook post?
I must have bruised it, yes, sir.
Okay, so you're at least on notice at that point that she's suing him with lawyers from New York.
Form.
Okay.
Because you say interesting. Is that
Okay.
what you say? Okay. So you've seen his response on Facebook.
And based on my answer, I must have really been into it.
Okay. So you were really reading it.
I don't know. I mean, based on, I would say that my answer plays off the what she's trying to drag me into by merely saying interesting
Okay.
and leaving it alone.
He's clearly lying and basically admitted to working with Teresa against Dr. Khan. The stress of the lawsuit really began to weigh on Teresa. She eventually texts Sheriff Stevens and said she regrets suing Dr. Khan.
One other note, I don't know how you do your job. If I knew then what I know now, I would have never come forward with this case. Man has beat me up terribly, very, very stressful. And then what was your response?
Based on the text message, our system dang sure is not in the favor of the victim.
Teresa Chandler was formerly married to Tony Bishop during her affair with Sheriff Stevens. She asked Sheriff for help after Tony learned about the affair and kicked her out.
I want to talk to you about your conversations with her about Tony Bishop. It says here on 12/14/2019, there's a text from Miss Chandler to you that, sorry to bother you on a Saturday, but I have a situation. Tony is saying that he's changed the locks and prepared to have me arrested if I return to get the rest of my stuff. My name is on the deed of the house and my mail still goes there. Can he do this? What would I be arrested for? Do you see that question she asked you?
Yes, sir.
And your response.
I'll just object form relevance.
So what I'm first of all, is this a typical question you get from a constituent? Like a question about whether you can be arrested?
Almost every other day.
Okay. And your response, and then she said, he said he will have me arrested if I return to the property. And your response is he can't. What is that based on?
I don't think that's my response.
Or, excuse me, from Captain Jack Nash.
I don't think it's Captain Jack Nash.
Who's Jack Nash?
He's now a sergeant. I think he was just a deputy at that point.
Okay. Why would Jack Nash be responding?
Form, speculation,
If you know.
can answer.
I'm assuming because Miss Chandler texted him and not me.
Do you know, was Jack Nash the public relations officer for your office?
I do believe he at that time held that position.
Okay. Does he currently hold that position?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what does public relations officer mean?
His duties for me is to stay up on my social media. He is my public information officer when events happen and we notify the media, be it newspaper, television, radio. And then he also attends events, keeps all our goods and bads and everything in the public's eye.
Okay. Now, did you ever authorize Mr. Nash to give legal advice of this nature?
No, sir.
Okay. Were you familiar before this lawsuit that he had been giving her legal advice that's reflected in these text messages?
No, sir.
It's safe to say Officer Jack Nash illegally gave Teresa legal advice regarding her husband. Whenever Teresa and Tony split for good, she texts Sheriff and told him she's moving.
In the third paragraph down, she refers to, I didn't keep my word to you of moving on the 28th and removing my name from the deed. Do you ever recall a conversation before this text where she promised you she was going to move out on the 28th?
No, sir.
Okay. Now your response is on the next page, page 20, and it looks like your response is about 4 minutes later. I'll be praying for you and wishing you good health. Miss you, love you. See that response?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then she says, thank you, miss you, and love you. You see that as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This isn't Sheriff's first affair on the job. He was also involved with Denise Grimsley, a Republican member of the Florida State Senate.
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
Denise Grimsley.
And what was Miss Grimsley doing with you?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to say.
And what does Miss Grimsley do?
She was a nurse by profession. She was I think a representative and then maybe a senator at one time.
And was there any particular reason you would be with her that you can recall?
Most likely we're at a function together. It looks like the background is not my office. So I would say that once again, we're at a political function somewhere.
Okay. And would that be a picture you would share with others?
Form, you can answer.
It's a shame how Sheriff Stevens is sending dirty messages on his work-issued phone that citizens pay for. Many people don't know Dr. Khan won the $26 million lawsuit against Sheriff Stevens. But on July 19, 2024, he declined the money to stay in good standings with the citizens of Okeechobee. Now Sheriff Stevens still hasn't been held accountable and is corrupting the town to this day. You guys let me know how you feel about this in the comments. If you were Dr. Khan, would you have accepted the 26 million? If you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe for me. Also turn on post notifications so you don't miss any videos or updates. I've got daily news and updates every day for you guys. I speak with Coach Sapp, and he is my direct source for this entire series. This is just the beginning. I still have lots of unseen footage on the way for you guys. I'm about to play the entire interrogation footage so you guys can review it for yourselves. I really appreciate your support to the channel.